The woman was always rushing. She ran to work, she ate lunch on the go, she talked fast and walked faster. Life was a race, and she was determined to win. She never stopped to look around. She never noticed the flowers blooming. She never heard the birds singing. She was too busy for all that. One day she realized something. She wasn't happy. This wasn't living, this was just existing. One bright sunny morning, the woman was rushing through the park. She was late for a meeting. Her phone was buzzing. Her head was down. Suddenly she tripped. She landed with a thud. She looked down to see what had tripped her. It was a tiny turtle. The woman stared at the turtle. The turtle stared back. For the first time in a long time, the woman slowed down. The woman picked up the turtle. It felt smooth and cool in her hands. She decided to name him Sheldon. She took Sheldon home with her. At first, Sheldon just hid in his shell. The woman made him a cozy home. She gave him fresh lettuce and cucumber. Slowly, Sheldon began to come out of his shell. The woman loved watching Sheldon. He moved so slowly and peacefully. He reminded her that life wasn't a race. One evening, the woman was feeling stressed. Work was piling up. Her apartment was a mess. She sat down on the floor, feeling overwhelmed. Sheldon slowly crawled over to her. He looked up at her with his big, calm eyes. The woman took a deep breath. She realized she was holding her breath. Sheldon seemed to sense her anxiety. He nudged her hand with his head, and she couldn't help but smile. The wisdom of patience. The woman started spending more time with Sheldon. She watched him eat, she watched him sleep, she watched him move slowly and steadily across his little world. She began to realize something important. Sheldon wasn't in a hurry. He didn't worry about the future. He didn't dwell on the past. He just lived in the moment. And that's when the woman started to understand. She didn't have to rush all the time. She could slow down. She could enjoy the journey. Life in the slow lane. The woman made changes. She started waking up earlier. She made time for breakfast. She walked to work instead of taking the subway. She started noticing things she had never seen before. She saw the sunrise over the city. She smelled the fresh bread from the bakery. She heard the laughter of children playing. The world hadn't changed. She had changed. She was no longer just existing. She was truly living. Shells and smiles. The woman still had bad days, days when she felt rushed and stressed, but now she had Sheldon. She would hold him in her hands. She would feel his smooth shell. She would watch him blink his slow, steady blinks, and she would remember life was good. It was good to slow down. It was good to appreciate the little things. Finding peace in the present. The woman learned that happiness wasn't about reaching a destination. It was about enjoying the journey. It was about savoring each moment, no matter how small. She learned that patience wasn't about waiting. It was about appreciating the time it took for things to grow, to change, to become. She learned that mindfulness wasn't about clearing your mind. It was about being present in the moment with all of your senses. The journey continues. The woman continued to live her life. She still worked hard. She still had deadlines. But she never forgot the lesson she learned from a tiny turtle named Sheldon. Slow and steady wins the race. But more importantly, slow and steady lets you enjoy the journey. The woman smiled. She had found her peace. She had found her joy. She had found her own pace. And it was perfect.